Hello and welcome to Juicy Scoop. I've got your girl, Sarah Colonna, here with me. We are going to go through so many topics, shows, everything. Have not seen you in a really long time. If you're watching this on YouTube, yes, we are in the same room.
But we're pretty far apart,
We're pretty far apart.
and we didn't hug, which was
We're
weird.
not hugging. We're not making out. We've got the hand
Well,
sanitizer.
no, we did make out. Don't lie. That's the only thing we did.
We did, but we have so much to discuss. First of all, you are a couple years younger than I am, so I don't know if you ever saw this movie, but all of a sudden I thought about it the other day with them saying that beaches were going to be open, but they're going to have a lot of rules about the beaches. And flashed in my head was the made-for-TV movie Boy in the Plastic Bubble, starring John
Travolta. Yes, I remember that movie.
Okay, now for the kids, for not even the kids, for people, first of all,
Watch it. You have time right now.
you can watch it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Basically, the story is there's this couple, and the dad is the dad from the Brady Bunch.
Oh, it is?
Yes,
See,
and the
I don't
mom
remember
is a
it
woman
nearly as well
who's-
as you do.
You see the boy in the beginning, he's a baby, but then most of the movie is when he's a teenager and he's John Travolta being played. The backstory is John Travolta was like 20 doing that movie, and he had a full-blown affair with the woman who played his mother. They were like a full-on couple during the movie and post-movie. And the woman was like definitely 40.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was like the first love of his life. And I want to say that she like might have died of cancer or something and he was heartbroken and like never got over it.
Did you just make that up?
I don't know. Kelly, go look that up. Okay, but the story of the movie is he's a boy, and he has this weird autoimmune disease or whatever. He can never be touched by anybody. His crib is a plastic bubble, a plastic thing. Eventually he's a teenager and his whole room.
She died of cancer in his arms.
She died
Oh
of
my
cancer in his
God.
arms. Juicy
In
Scoop
real life?
history. Yeah, in real life. But they had like a 20-year age difference. And
That's
this was before
awful.
this is when Cougar was just an animal
And
that
not
Carol Baskin had in her backyard. No, yeah. So he's a teenager. And so I go, oh, let me look at this. And in the preview, I was like, oh my God. They have their first Zoom classroom because they go, we figured out a way for the boy in the plastic bubble, whatever, to join us in the classroom. And so they're all in the classroom and they're like, hi, you there? And he goes, hey. And he's just on like a Zoom thing joining the class.
So
and this was like 40 years ago.
Oh my God, they knew it was coming.
And then he goes to the beach in this like plastic crate. And then the girl that he likes who looks across the street, he thinks likes her, but actually it was like a dare. And it's just like, it just breaks your heart.
Yeah, because not to be mean to anyone that has to live in a plastic bubble, but that's hard to date. Like you can't.
Well, now we all are in plastic bubbles.
I know, basically.
But yeah, but what's he going to do? So then they say, we're going to give you this suit. And you can actually go to the school if you wear the spaceman suit. So he looks like he's like going to Mars, but it's orange. And he starts to have some fun and they show them running on the beach and she's in a bathing suit and he's in a full suit. I'm like, how hot would you be? And they're holding hands running along the beach. And then the final scene is, which is going to happen with all of us one day. He just says, fuck it. And he walks outside.
Oh.
Just walks outside. And we don't know what happens.
We don't know what happens.
Because they go, look, you could be fine. We don't know.
This is the
Or you-
time to do a follow-up to that movie, to do a sequel and let us know.
You could be fine or you might die. And he goes, I don't care. I want to be with a girl across the street, my girlfriend. And he just wakes up one morning and he just walks out his door and we never know what happens.
Oh.
I mean, it
kinda
wasn't a true story.
Yeah, no, I know, but I forgot that was the ending to it. But it's definitely, it's happening for people that need haircuts and stuff. They're saying fuck it and going outside. So they're not far off of a prediction from that movie.
Who knew that we all had a little John Travolta in us?
Oh,
It's amazing. Okay, there's been lots of quarantine divorces.
oh yeah.
Before we get into the quarantine divorces, how are you and your husband, John?
So we're good. We have a we're lucky enough to have enough space. We have a room like that's above our garage that we kind of weren't using before, and we made it into like a full gym. And then
Oh,
he also got
nice.
like a big TV, and we got it's like we call it the pandemic room. Like if I feel a little moody, he just goes up there and we don't talk for a couple hours.
That's what I was the most jealous of when I saw your house for the first time, because Sarah has a beautiful house. It's completely redone. A lot of people watch Vanderpump Rules, which I will discuss in a minute, but a lot of people got those like these redone houses kind of in your area.
Yeah.
They call them modern farm houses.
Right.
And when I walked out, you have a detached garage, and above the detached garage is a full, beautiful room.
Yeah, and we hadn't really put it to use, but and like we were actually putting it to use before this all started, and then it just got. We've already, like luckily we put in like we had the Peloton and all that stuff, so we're lucky we have all that stuff. But then
Yeah.
now there's also like like theater seat recliners, not like fancy ones, but just a version of them up there, and like we'll watch movies up there. We act like we're going out.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, like one day John got a bunch of candy, and when I went up there, and he was like, "We're on a date," and I'm like, "Okay." So
That's
it's
so cute.
yeah, so it's
that's like
nice.
what I did for Mother's Day. I had Brandon act like he was
Oh
a
my God,
waiter.
that was I kept texting you during that because I couldn't stop laughing. First of all, I just like when he goes, "Man, would you like to sit anywhere?" like, would you like to sit anywhere? Or maybe he said somewhere, but anyway, it made me laugh. But
After he gave me my food, what people don't know, and he went back to playing his video games, I sat out in my front, which I've never sat out in my front my whole life, with next to this little fountain. This is all on my Instagram at Heather McDonald. And I continued to eat my meal, have several more glasses of rosé by myself out there, called my sister on and did the FaceTime, which normally I don't like to do,
yeah.
and had a cute lunch by myself.
I mean, you got to do what you got to do. Did any of your neighbors walk by and go like, "Oh God, she's losing it. She's at a table for one in her yard"?
No, because it was close to the front door, so it was not like I was like right on the street.
Right.
But yeah, I think people are happy when they see those weird social distancings
Oh my
on the
God.
lawn. They're like, "Good for you, girl."
Yeah,
Like-
I have a friend who she has a table that she puts like outside her window, and she invites like one person to come over, and they sit like outside her dining room window at this table, and it's all like made up and cute, and they just have dinner that way, from one's inside the house and one's outside.
Good for them.
But I don't think I mean, like,
You don't think you'll get divorced?
No, I don't think so. But the good thing is, like, we actually are used to having, like, he's usually gone by now. Like, he'd be in Canada playing football. For
Yeah.
those listeners that don't know, he plays football. So I travel a lot. So we've never had this much time together. So I was kind of worried, but it's sort of nice.
Yeah.
And then also, like, now I can, I don't have to like take the trash out and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like
all,
I would
all
get,
the stuff you'd have to do by yourself when he was away.
yeah, which seems really small, but when I have to do it when I'm like by myself, I get like unreasonably angry at him while I'm like pulling the trash to the curb. I'm like, God, what the fuck did I get married for if I have to do this myself?
That's what I always say too. I'm like, what's the point of having you?
Yeah.
Like if I'll go, oh, can you do this? And he'd be like, come on, you can do it. Let me teach you. Like he'll do this thing like, let me teach you. What if I died? I'm like, don't make me hopeful. Like I go, well, now I have two sons that I just,
They'll step
if they
in.
know how to do these things, fine. But I don't want to learn anything.
And when you ask someone to do something,
Just
come
do
on,
it.
let me teach you, is like, no.
Yeah, like the fish thing. Let me teach you how to fish, and then you could eat forever. I
No.
want to just get takeout.
Yeah.
Okay. Quarantine divorces. Okay, here we go. There's been a bunch. Kristen Cavallari.
Yes.
You know about her divorce, correct?
Yes.
The latest is that the show is not coming back. They did 3 seasons on E, very Cavallari. And a lot of people thought when they announced their divorce, is this so that she has a juicy storyline for season 4? Is this a way to get picked up? No, she posted yesterday, show isn't coming back. Deal with it.
And it's been like that. Their story has been so all over the place because it
Yeah.
was like he filed and said they separated like the 20th, and then she filed and said it was the 7th, and then someone
she
said
did
they were
that
living
weird-
together, but
Yeah.
then she's saying that they haven't been together since.
Right.
Like-
Then she said, I love him and we only have love and respect for each other, but then he wouldn't let her buy a house. Then
Yeah.
he froze the assets. And then you hear that she said, well, you were just a lazy retired football player that did nothing with your life.
Yeah.
And then a lot of football people were like, have you ever seen him run or whatever? And
I mean, it's weird because like, he made so much money playing football. And then I mean, as the wife of an athlete, I could say John's not retired, but eventually he will be, and he'll be retired like in his 40s, which is weird, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what. So you have to like hope that they have something they want to do, I guess. But also, if he had that much money, I'd be like, well, who cares? Like, just buy me stuff.
And
all
then there
day.
was a rumor about the cheating.
Right.
That-
with her
with
friend.
her friend, and that there were rumors that no, there were several people and inappropriate conversations that she like read on his phone or DMs or whatever. I think it was just a lot. I think it was all of it.
Yeah.
I think it was like the romance was really high profile and fun. Then she got pregnant before she was married. Not that that doesn't matter, but like, again, it might have forced this relationship because they were like broken up on and off, on and off. Then she got pregnant. Then she had the baby. Then they had a lavish wedding. Then they had 2 more babies. So everyone's like, no, it's meant to be. Then they're on the show and people found him to be either really kind of funny or a bit of a dick.
Was he? Did you watch it?
I think it was a little bit of both.
Yeah, it seemed like that's. I mean, I
Like,
didn't watch it.
I think his dickish ways
fully,
were
but-
kind of funny.
Yeah.
But they were also, I think people thought that, like, you know, he wasn't really giving her the respect she deserved because she did build she does have great style
She
and
does,
all that,
yeah,
and
she's
3
super
kids.
smart.
But then I thought he was rolling with it because like her 2 gay best friends were like with him the whole time, and I'm like, well, he probably has nothing else to do, so he's like, sure, I'll go get drunk with these fun guys, like.
Yeah, I think that like maybe I was like maybe that's just his sense of humor, like when somebody can be, and sometimes you're like, oh, it doesn't always come across that you're trying to be funny, like sometimes you just seem like an asshole.
Yeah.
I think that might be like his personality. They came to my show in Nashville a few years ago.
Oh,
at
they did
Zany's.
tell me.
Yeah.
And
That's
did you
it.
know they were coming, or you
No,
found out later?
No, I had no idea. Someone told me, like right before I went on stage, they were like, "Oh, Jay Cutler and Kristen Cavallari are in the audience," and I was like, I got excited. I don't even really know why, and then I got scared that maybe because this was like when we were still in Chelsea lately, and then
Had
I
we
got
said
scared that
something,
maybe we
yeah.
had said something about because we would always we always
Yeah.
poked fun at celebrities on that show. So I was like, oh God, what if we've and then so I tweeted afterwards to her and just said thanks for coming to the show, and she wrote and said we had a great time. It was so fun. So I was like, okay, we're not. She wasn't there to make sure I didn't make
So
fun
they
of her.
obviously have a great sense of humor and no good comedy.
Obviously,
But it looks like they're not going to make it.
maybe that was the beginning of the end. Maybe my show is what started. To do
And
the
did we
men.
ever find out, Kelly, if the bracelet is his arm? So the girl that she stopped being friends with,
Yeah, she posted that photo.
the girl that she stopped being friends with in the show based on rumors that they were getting together, but it seemed like Kristen was like, why is she avoiding me? Why doesn't she address this? Obviously, it's not true or something. It was very strange.
Yeah.
And then the girl really pulled back. And it was like the girl dumped Kristen. And I'm like, why is she dumping Kristen? This is her opportunity to be on TV. Like, what is it? So that girl posted like sunset nights or something. And then there was just this man's hand with a very distinct, like rubber string type bracelet thing
Yeah.
that the detectives found to be on many other photos of his. And it was his forearm, is what is to believe.
Oh, it was Jay's? Because I thought they said it wasn't. I thought. Like,
Oh, but did
even-
they find out
I
it
thought
wasn't?
Kristen-
It wasn't confirmed, but it was beaded bracelets that a man was wearing. So
It wasn't confirmed.
I
Beaded
think
bracelets. Man,
he
I mean, it
seems like he
wasn't
would
like,
wear
you
beaded
know, if it
bracelets, though.
if it fits, it must have quit or whatever. If
Right.
it doesn't fit, it can't quit. I mean, it wasn't like the glove test of OJ,
Well,
but it was suspicious.
pretty close. Well, and then I guess Kristen's camp I read was like, or her camp, her people, whatever. They were like, oh, that was definitely not Jay's arm, and like it's a shame this girl's trying to get attention during all of this. Like she obviously posted it for a reason, wanting people to wonder whose forearm that was.
Yes.
Like otherwise you wouldn't. Like I've never taken a photo of my husband's forearm and just you know what I mean?
I love people that are so good at Instagram that they think about stuff like that. That they like go ahead and do these little cryptic posts. And you're like, was it planned and premeditated, or was it just Like I would never know how to do that. Oh, I'll do this little sneaky thing, and then they'll put two and two together and start talking about it.
Yeah, I know.
It's
I
kind
mean,
of amazing the people that do that.
I know. And but it's like kind of like if it wasn't him, what was the point other than to get people talking?
I love that there are Instagram detectives
Yeah.
that like
Well, maybe
straight
they'll-
up like there's criminal detectives, there's murder detectives, and then there's just an Instagram detective that's just like zoomed in, and they're also the ones that like figure out the bad photoshopping because they're like, look at the fence,
Right.
You know, and it's like somehow the fence looks a little off. So half the times they point that out to me, I'm still like, don't see what you're talking about.
No, I tried but I tried one time to Photoshop a photo because I was like, oh, I just want to see. And like basically it looked like I had half a body. And I was like, well, that's not going to work. Like, just forget it. It's not worth Photoshopping. I could just put it up there like all bent like Gumby. I look like Gumby or something. It was like made no sense. And those are also the people that find out when the bachelors are like, when they accidentally post something
Yes.
and they're like, Nick's hairbrush is in the corner or something, and you're like, what? How did you figure that out? Like they know. They're
Yeah.
the ones that find out when the batch who's together.
And I feel like there's a lot more of them right now because they are probably are real detectives that are laid off or something.
Oh, that's
Because
true.
the courts are down. Like you find out, like I used to be district attorney of this county. Now I'm Instagram detective. Okay. Also, big breakup here. You got to see this photo because wait, I want to just blow it up a little bit. It is our little Olsen girl who isn't little. How old is she? Is she like 30 now? But she still looks like she's 14. I believe she's still under 5 feet. Mary Kate Olsen, and she wears never wears a heel. And she married some guy that looked like he was 55, who's French or something. Anyway,
I think he's 55 or 60, and he's like a French like investment banker. I googled his net worth yesterday just out of curiosity. It's a lot. I can't remember
but
now.
she has a lot. And
Oh,
then,
yeah,
and then
she's
they're
worth
getting
way
in
more.
there. So they're breaking up, and there's some big thing where she can't get her overcoats back or
I
something.
know.
Like, I'm like, what? I'm like, first of all, she has a whole line of clothing anyway. So like, and their stuff is good. Their little
Yeah.
high end stuff, like their dresses and stuff, are really pretty good. So I'm like, do you really need to go back and get that stuff from 2 seasons ago? Like,
I know the whole story is so weird. Like he basically he gave up their lease or he terminated their lease or something without talking to her. And
in
he's
some
like,
big
well,
fancy apartment.
Yeah,
in
he's
New
like,
York.
oh, I couldn't afford to pay the rent. It's like, well, no, you're like they're both super rich, so he's obviously just did it. But you can't just terminate a lease and leave someone out. And then she's like, well, I have nowhere to go, no roof over my head. I'm like, but you're like a multi-millionaire, so you do have somewhere to go, and
Yeah.
you can get a quick roof over your head quicker than like someone else.
Right, but I do think this
you
would
can
be. I
figure
do
it out.
think this would be a shitty time to be breaking up.
Oh
just
no,
with
it
everything
is,
to do.
and
but
it's
yeah.
weird and shitty of him to like do that to her. You're right; she does need to get her overcoats, but and her sneakers, but it's just like the whole story is so weird. I mean,
you
he's
think-
obviously just being really mean. He's being an asshole.
Do you think? So she's Mary Kate. Do you think Ashley is happy that they're breaking up?
I mean, Ashley just needs to let her in. I guess she needs to go live with Ashley for a little bit.
Do you know what I came
Does she
across
have-
when I was
is she
looking at?
married?
Huh?
Is Ashley married? Sorry.
Is Ashley married? I don't know. But you know what I came across while looking up these topics yesterday? And I know you're going to know this. And there is nothing funny about it.
But you're
But-
smiling.
You know the identical twins that are conjoined,
Yes.
that have one body,
Right.
because when they were born, they were so conjoined that they have legs. I think they have their own lungs and their own heart, but like their pelvis and their legs are one, and then they each control an arm.
Right.
And
they have
anyway, they're doing great. I want to tell you,
so they're fine. They're healthy. They're good.
I think it's kind of an awesome story, okay? Because before, I remember it was going to be a problem because growing up, I remember seeing something and one wanted to be a pilot and the other one wanted to not be a pilot. And I thought, well, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, you
You
can't.
pretty much, well, what's good is they both are teachers now. So they teach a class, or they're like a teacher's aide for like 4th and 5th graders. And they set up their classroom, and
And like which one? Like they just take turns talking.
They talk a lot together.
Oh,
Like,
that's interesting.
yeah, they'll just start saying something, and I'll tell you how they do it.
So like, what if one
One
gains
gets
weight?
baked. It's like that.
Hold on, let's do it. I would really,
Wait, like Kelly, ask it. Wait, just ask Kelly. Just ask any question. I know you're not on mic. Just ask a question like, "Are you guys excited to?" Or like, I'll just say. The teacher goes, "All right," and now just answer as you're going to answer, but just look at me when you do it. Okay.
Okay.
Why are you guys excited for the first day of school?
Oh
Yeah,
I've
we're
been looking
forward to it.
it.
It's like that, but even more in sync.
Wow.
And yeah.
Well, that's good. So maybe Mary Kate and Ashley could learn something from them, even though
I
I don't know
mean-
if they have anything to learn. I think they're fine, but
I mean, it's amazing,
it is amazing.
and I
What
how
if one
great that
gains
you're
weight?
like
Does the other one gain weight? Like, because they share their whole body, right?
they share their whole body, but I think they only have one stomach.
Right.
So yeah, if one started to eat her
Talk
face,
about eating for two.
but
No.
if one started to eat her face off, and the other one wasn't, that would kind of suck because one, you'd be jeopardizing their body together,
Right.
and the other one's like, God, I'm not enjoying I don't get to eat the cheesecake, but you get to eat the cheesecake and make us fat.
Right. And I don't even get to taste it.
Yeah, I don't get to taste it or have some fun. They have one body. They have one bottom. They have one vagina, two legs,
One butthole.
one pelvis, one butthole, I believe. But then they have two hearts, two lungs.
And that's
And
why
then
they're
I
able
did
to-
some surgeries to kind of like make it work. Like they may have gotten rid of a couple extra parts and then made it work.
It's pretty amazing. if you
And it's
think
pretty
about it,
amazing
it's
that like, that these kids are going to be like, yeah, is it like honestly pretty crazy to look at? Yeah, but they're going to be the most like evolved children because they're going to like, yeah, and by the second day I got over it.
yeah,
And I just got used to seeing them and now it's like
yeah,
not a big deal
exactly.
for me.
Yeah.
Okay, speaking of other divorces, Brian Austin Green from 90210 fame and Megan Fox have broken up yet again.
Yeah, I was like, I guess I forgot they got back together.
They
'cause I
have
was like,
broken up so many times.
Yeah.
So he had one child with like this girl Vanessa Marcel or something. She was an actress.
Brenda from General Hospital.
Okay.
Yeah, watch your mouth. Don't disrespect. Not some actress.
I figured that.
Brenda
Okay.
from General Hospital.
I don't know if they were
Her
married
and
or
Sonny's
what.
love story
Okay.
was the greatest love story of all soap
Okay. Well, if you
operas.
know all about her, how old is their boy now?
I don't know.
Okay. So so then he meets Megan Fox, and they had two boys. And then they were broken up. I remember this. They were broken up. And then during like the exchange or something of hanging out together, they boned. She got knocked up. They had a third boy, got back together, had a third boy. She is only 34 years old.
They have three together.
So they have three together plus his fourth, all
okay.
boys. And now she is with Machine Gun Kelly. And they're doing a movie together that was stopped because of COVID, but they're in the middle of filming a movie, Randall's movie, who we know because Lala's on Vanderpump Rules, and her fiance is Randall. And so they're together. They're seen together. He broke the silence on his podcast, Brian Austin Green, like 2 days ago or yesterday, saying, we've been separated for a few months because while she was filming, she said, hey, I really kind of like this separation. Let's keep it going. And they're going to keep it quiet. But once they got photographed together, her and Machine Gun Kelly, also they have a music video out together.
Oh, they do?
It's a pretty good song. It just came out.
Oh,
And
yeah.
And so she's the girl in the video.
Oh.
And she's still so beautiful. But you know what about it, though? Is like 10 years ago when she came out, it was like, oh, this is the most beautiful, perfect face I've ever seen. But now so many people have that same face.
Yeah, how does that happen?
Injectables and stuff.
Oh, right. Yeah,
like
she's so
she
pretty.
has the original face.
And
just
people
like
are just working off of it.
And then everybody got the same nose, the same cheeks, the same lips, the
she
same
is
dark
so
hair.
pretty. Ugh.
So she still looks gorgeous, but now it's just like, it's not that special of a face. You're like, oh, I just feel like I see that girl everywhere now.
Right.
But she's only 34. He's 30. He's all tatted up. He's white. It's all tatted up. His song's pretty great.
I saw
And-
that Brian Austin Green was like, on his podcast, he was talking about that, and he's like, well, we didn't break up because of someone had an affair. I don't want this guy's name. Like, he was basically like, I
What
don't
did
want
he
this
say?
guy's name being dragged through the mud. Like, he's not the reason we're not together. We were, basically he was kind of like, yeah, I guess if he's fucking her, he's fucking her because we're separated. Like, literal, I was like, wow, that's either he was really over it to have that sort of great attitude, or he's just putting on like a really brave face. But either way, I was like, that's a really classy way to handle your
Yeah.
wife being with someone new. I was
I
like,
just think they've had like a rough go at this marriage from beginning to end, and getting back together, not having then getting pregnant, staying back together. Like, I think they're just both like, he's probably just like, I'm fine with it. Like, I remember watching Flipping Out. Jeff Lewis was redoing their house, but only Brian Austin Green was ever featured on the house. Like she never even once said like, oh, I like that floor. Nothing, did not appear. And that just tells me that that was probably a fight. He
Yeah.
probably agreed to do the show. And then she was like, I'm fucking Megan Fox. I'm not going to go and be at a reality show so you can get some TV time and some free floors. I'm not doing it. They got in a big fight. She went across the street, started sleeping with Machine Gun Kelly.
that's how
And
it
that's
all
how it
goes
happened.
back to Jeff Lewis.
Yes, because they're neighbors across the street. No,
Right.
this happened. He did the show. He did their house a couple years ago. But I just thought, what a small world. And then I also think, like, she's 34, still gorgeous. But I think sometimes women around that age have a bit of, like, especially someone that's so gorgeous like that, like a little bit of a midlife crisis.
Yeah.
Like, she's a mom of 3, and she gets with this guy that's 30, but it's almost like you're with a 21-year-old. Like, he's, got the dyed blonde hair and the tats, and he's like, I assume he likes to skateboard. I just think, like, it's almost like it's a midlife crisis. Just like a guy will have a midlife crisis and get a Ferrari and want to be with a 22-year-old when he's 45. Like, I think there's women that are like, I just want to, like, I don't, I'm getting closer to 35. I'm getting closer to the other side of, like, even though she looks amazing, and having like this moment of like, I just want to escape, and I just want to be like a girl who's like in love with her teenage boyfriend again. And that's
Right.
what I think this is.
That could be it. I want to know who he's going to date next, because let's be
Brian
honest,
Austin
like,
Green.
yeah, he's had 2. I mean, both Vanessa Marcel and
Both
Megan
gorgeous.
Fox are both like beautiful. So maybe that's why he's chill about it, because he's like, well, I've already, like, the next one's going to be hot too. Maybe that's.
But
what
I
he
also
thinks.
think like Megan Fox, I think she was a little girl watching 90210. They probably were like, Megan, you're too young to watch that show. But then she was watching it like 10.
How old is he now, Brian Austin Green?
He's probably like 45.
Yeah, right.
So he was like 20 on it or something, or 18 on it, and she was probably like 7 watching it. So then when she meets him as an adult, and Brian Austin Green was like the edgiest of the 90210 crowd,
Right.
because he had like a couple tats. He liked to sing. And so then she just like,
I bet he's got a big
Fell-
penis. That's why he's got those 2 wives.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think she fell in love with him and all that stuff. But Kelly was saying that she's very disappointed with Megan Fox's life because she feels that Megan Fox was going to be like the next Angelina Jolie. And had she not had all those babies with Brian Austin Green, she might have been in a different place.
I mean, it's true. She's not. I mean, I mean, I enjoy her. Like, I can think. I really like that movie, Jennifer's Body.
Uh-huh.
But I don't really know. Even when you were like, well, I'm not going to do this show, I'm Megan Fox. I'm like, but does she? I mean, and this isn't being mean, but like, does she work that much? Like, I don't really actually know. Right.
Not anymore.
And I'm
I
not
think-
saying that in
But
a mean
also,
way, but
wasn't she was
any means.
also in those Transformer things, and there was a
Oh,
lot of
that's right.
controversy about Michael Bay not enjoying working with her or something, or that she didn't like Michael Bay, and I don't know that we've never.
forgot
but
she
like,
was in the
we've never
Transformers.
really
That's-
seen like real. Other than like, I'm a really hot girl and fun to see on TV. Like, we've never seen her do like a true acting moment. Like Angelina Jolie like blew our minds with Girl Interrupted and Gia, and like early on in her career we were like, wow, this girl like has some real acting chops, and she comes from 2 actor parents too. So it's like, I don't know, but a lot of people look like Angelina Jolie now too, unfortunately, because she's pretty. But I'm just saying, Angelina Jolie's face is just like,
you can
now
you
can buy it. You can buy it.
Oh my God, we're like the twins.
I know.
talking at the same time.
Okay, then the last quarantine couple we're going to get into is Jamie King and Kyle Newman. Jamie King, you know her from, she was on, here she is. She was on,
Yeah.
she's another one that like, she was on White Chicks, which I was on, and I remember her doing that, and she was so beautiful.
Was she on?
But I feel like she's
the
just kind of like
the
continue.
sitcom?
Yes, like I feel like she's
Yeah.
just continued to be on, to be in our, zeitgeist. But like, there really isn't anything that someone can say. You just know who she is. I don't know if she's always kept a publicist and gone to enough things, and she's pretty enough and has good enough fashion sense that when she's on the red carpet, they actually use her photo, unlike me. I would go to these things and no one would ever buy it or post it anywhere. And then, so I'm like, oh, that was fun. I got some free popcorn, but like, what's the point of doing this? She actually gets her photo used.
Yeah.
She's getting divorced. She has 2 boys, 4 and 6. She's divorcing her guy. And she says she had to get a restraining order and said that he was like violent or something.
I know.
And
I saw the restraining order, but I never saw. They said details weren't available. So I'm like, what was this restraining order? Because he won't leave her alone? Was he hurting her? Like, the restraining order is a pretty big deal to get against your
yeah.
ex-husband. So he must have obviously done something. I would just wonder if it was either physical or if he just like won't leave her alone. Because remember, she got stalked like a few years ago.
Yeah.
That guy like stalked her and like tried to break into her car and stuff when her kids were in it. Like, I don't know. So she's had a traumatic.
Sometimes I think with these restraining orders too, sometimes it's a tactic so that the person gets out of the house. Like sometimes the
Oh.
attorney is like, if we can get this, then he'll definitely have to move out of the house. So if there is any feeling that you might have, and then, at least he'll get him out of the house. And then when we go to court, maybe it won't be enforced, but by that time, then enough time has been apart and he'll be more willing to settle or something. I don't know.
There was a photo of her yesterday that came out like when she looks very skinny. It made me nervous.
She's so skinny. Do you have that photo here?
It's not in this album.
Oh.
And she might just naturally be like that. But then when I saw how skinny she was, I was like, oh, I don't know if this is like a stress thing from all the.
Well,
from the
I
divorce.
remember when I did White Chicks, don't mean to brag, and she was on it, she was really skinny.
So she's just a naturally
and there
skinny
was
person.
kind of some talk among myself and some of the other cast members that we believe that she didn't enjoy eating food.
Oh. Ugh.
Is that a good way to say?
Yeah. Well, because it's not like some people are naturally skinny, so I'm not trying to like body shape
Yeah.
whatever. I mean,
And
like
some people are naturally skinny because they don't like they don't enjoy food.
right, or some
So,
people are.
okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe that's it.
But I have.
It's a
I'm
big,
definitely
it's a
not.
big burden.
I'm definitely not losing weight during quarantine. Is all I can say. So I would really like to. Maybe I need to get a divorce and get stress skinny. Get a restraining order against John and make him just stay in the pandemic room upstairs.
I know. I'm definitely not someone that's. Yeah, I'm enjoying the wine every night and the food, and
So sometimes I'm like, is it 5 o'clock yet so I can have a drink? Because I don't know what else to do.
I do 3 on a weekend, 5. 3 on
3 on a weekend. I start at noon on the weekend.
Oh, yeah, but I do try to do 5 on the week.
Yeah. Yeah, I tried to do 5 o'clock. Yesterday was 4:50
All right.
when I started. But all I did was make myself a margarita and enjoyed it for like a good couple hours. So it's not like,
Yeah.
I'm not knocking them all back, but just sometimes I'm like, John said, maybe we should take a couple days where we don't drink, because obviously we do that normally. But I was
No,
like,
which we try to do that with each
it's-
other too.
it's so hard. I mean, you don't have anything else to, and then you're just like, well, I'm just going to watch TV. Like, you're not going anywhere. You're not. So I'm just like, well, how am I not going to just pour a glass of wine and watch TV?
Exactly.
It's fine. Anyway, Jamie King's obviously not doing that, so good for her.
No, she's not. What do you think about? Let me see what's next on our list. Okay, here we go. Oh, did you hear the latest of what's going on with our favorite 90-day couple, Nicole and Ozan?
No. And I thought I was all caught up on 90 Day.
This is 90 Day, the episodes you're caught up on.
Yes.
We can get into. But this couple's been on over the years. Nicole is a blonde girl with a little girl named May. Ozan is a Muslim from Morocco. They've been back and forth, back and forth. Apparently, the rumor is she did go back there. It has now been revealed that the whole reason they never got married is because he has 2 wives and a few
No.
kids. She's now living in some Airbnb separate from
In Morocco?
in Morocco.
There's a lockdown.
There's a lockdown.
shit.
She's without May.
Where's her daughter?
with her parents.
Okay, well that's good. Honestly,
And
that's good. Like
no
her
end in
daughter doesn't need to be-
sight. And how is she going to come home? But I guess she's also doing some paid postings because some people bitched about getting some clickbait that they were annoyed by.
Well,
but
did
still,
she-
she's stuck in a place by herself in Morocco.
No, that's not. So, well, how come he never? I mean, how did he get away with her coming to visit all those times and she never met his 2 wives or the kids?
I think she knew. Do you think she knows she has other wives,
I don't
but
know.
she
She's
still
pretty
feels
jealous.
special because he's still making her feel special?
She seems too jealous for that. I don't think so. She was always so jealous. Remember when he had like something on his phone and she was always too jealous. I don't think she would be like the type of person. She doesn't have that
So
personality
do you
of like,
think
oh well.
she does just now found out that he has multiple wives? And she went to go visit him to try to get back on the show one more time. Like we're going to. So that's what Kelly thinks.
And then she
Kelly
and
did the
she went
investigation.
right when COVID happened.
Went right before
my God.
COVID. And
Is
then.
she doing the quarantine ones, like the 90-day fiance from life from quarantine?
No, I don't think she is.
Because I haven't gotten that far. Like I'm
No,
not
I'm
that
not
deep
watching
in.
those
But
ones.
John is. My husband watches
And
it.
what does he think? Does he
didn't.
like?
I'm gonna have to ask him about Nicole, and he told me that remember Caesar, the guy at the nail salon?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was a manicurist.
Yeah, he said
He's
that,
out of work.
Yeah, he said that he's definitely out of work. He said that he ended up meeting that woman. Remember she like never showed up or something, wasn't?
Oh
I
yeah, yeah.
forget.
She had another one that he had another one that never showed
Yeah.
up. Colombian or
And
something.
he
or
started telling
Yeah.
the producers that actually they met and they were like together for a little bit, but then they just decided it wasn't right and they broke up. And he had gone there and they were like, "Oh, do you have any photos from the trip?" And he's like, "Oh, they got deleted on the plane." And he was like obviously just lying, trying to say like, "Oh no, it was like amicable and she was real." And the producers were like, "Well, why didn't you tell us?" And they were like, "Oh, he's like, I just wanted to, do it on my own or whatever." Anyway.
Well, I feel pretty honored because Joffrey from this season,
Yes.
Jeffrey from Knoxville, Tennessee, who had a lot of controversy around him because once the show started airing, people saw that he had domestic violence accusations or cases among a couple past wives and girlfriends. They just said he will not be featured on the tell-all, but he's doing his own Instagram tell-all himself. His PR person wrote me an email to make me aware of it, so I feel kind of special. And we watched the preview, and
Wow, this is big. You got inside scoop.
not that much of an inside scoop, but whatever, because it is out there. But he's basically going to say what happened with his little son that died tragically with his wife. He is so he's 2 older sons from that
Right.
wife. Then he had a girlfriend that made some accusations. Then he had a girlfriend or a second wife where he had 2 kids with her, and one died very unexpectedly at 2. But he has another little kid with her, and then she made some accusations. He's going to go through the whole thing. I'm going to try to get him on the show though, because I want to know how he's going to respond to that. And then of course, I want to know more about what happened with the show.
Yeah, so I didn't know he wasn't invited to the tell-all. So is it because of all this stuff that's been...
Yeah, I think I don't know. I mean, who knows? Because the last we see from this past episode is he is back home in Knoxville. He's attempting to date a girl that looked to be like a platonic friend, but she's cute.
Right.
And then TLC sends Varnya from Russia over to surprise him at his doorstep, which I thought was a pretty great moment.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at. We still have one more episode, then the tell-all. So yeah, I guess he's pissed he's not doing the tell-all, and he's going to do his own tell-all. So we have that to look forward to.
But yeah, I guess so. Okay, so it sounds like they figured out some stuff about him. Why don't they ever look into these people's past before they put him on the show? Like, wouldn't that be? Can't you check criminal records? And
That's
stuff
what I don't
before?
get. And also, there was a time when I was gonna maybe be on Catfish because they were gonna do a Catfish of a level of celebrity of people that troll and hate you on social media. And I had to go and spend 3 hours doing one of those personality tests, to make sure that you're not psychotic.
Yeah.
And then,
Did you pass?
I mean, I assumed I passed.
But they didn't
I mean,
end
they're
up using
pretty
you.
obvious. I mean, if you were psychotic, I think you'd still know how to answer them correctly. I mean, they're literally like, do you ever think about killing yourself? Do you ever see a bridge and go, I'd like to jump off? And then I'm like, well, sometimes I do. But like, but I
You're
don't
like, "But I
know.
don't
Like
mean
they're
it."
pretty, I think, anyway, but they're a lot. And then they're like, it's a way of doing this test where they keep going back and asking you over and over and over again to make sure that you, I guess that's how they
Right.
tell that if your answers are consistent, then you're telling the truth and you don't have any mental issues. But if they start to become inconsistent, then but they don't want crazy people on it, which was like gets me to my next thing I want to talk to you about is the hot show new on Netflix, Trial by Media.
I can't believe you turned me on to this because you asked me to watch it for this, and yes, go ahead,
So
delve in.
I will just say, we're only going to talk about the first episode, which this is all based obviously on real things that have happened in history. But Jenny Jones had a talk show when there were all these talk shows in the 90s, in daytime talk shows, and everyone wanted to be Oprah. But besides Oprah, there were all these ones that were really cheesy. There was the Maury's still on, but along with Maury, there was Jerry Springer, but there was all these other ones, Jenny Jones being one of them. And hers was on pretty long. And Jenny Jones was actually a stand-up comic. And
that's right.
she was a female stand-up comic. And I remember seeing an interview that she did. She goes, I was doing all these stand-up shows. And then I just said, you know what? I'm going to do a show and only women are allowed. And then she like got all this press. And she goes, oh, we, and this is how old it was. It was like, she goes, we see who has a hole in their nylons. Let's show anyone who has the biggest hole in their nylons will get, a free prize, which by the way, that's like an old joke that my dad told me that stewardesses used to do when he was flying, like as a businessman.
Oh, really?
It'd be like,
That's probably
whoever
where
has
she got it.
whatever businessman has the biggest hole in their dress sock gets a free cocktail. Because people were like boozing and smoking on the plane,
Yeah.
So anyway,
The
now
good old
I don't
days.
think she was that good of a stand-up. Now that I
Now
just
you have to
realized.
go on a plane in a hazmat suit, like
Yeah.
Naomi Campbell. Did you see that?
No.
She was like in a full like hazmat suit on a plane.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I'll find the photo and text it to you, or you can Google it.
we'll throw it up there when we put this up. So anyway, she had an episode. This was like 1995 or something, and it was like, do you have a crush on somebody? Let us know. So this guy wrote in and he goes, I have a crush on somebody. It's my neighbor, my male. He's a guy, and this is I forgot their names. We'll call him Jonathan.
And Scott, I think, was the gay man that wanted to. Yeah.
So
and
Scott,
Jonathan
was gay and he was out, and he goes, I have a crush on my neighbor named John, and we share a mutual female friend together, and I don't know if he's gay or not, but I would just like him to know I have a crush on him. And they call John and they say, this is from the Jenny Jones show. Would you like to be flown out to do the Jenny Jones show? Someone has a crush on you. It could be a man. It could be a woman. Would you like to come out? Sure. So the female friend and gay Scott tell why Scott has a crush on John. And John comes out and Jenny's like, okay, you know who has a crush on you? He goes, no. He goes, it's Scott. And John goes, you lied to me. And he says a couple funny things like, what would you like to do? Oh, I'd like to see what happens. I'd like to tie you up with some whipped cream or something. And Jenny's laughing, and the audience is like, "What?" Because it's so scandalous back then that anyone was gay.
And Jonathan's like putting his hands over his face and laughing, but
Yeah,
clearly uncomfortable.
Clearly uncomfortable, but like pretty good sport about it. And then a couple days later, after they've flown home, Jonathan receives some like note from him.
Yeah, it was like a love note or something.
A little love note, and it was a little joke about the stop sign light thing that they got on their way home. They saw it, and he loses it. He gets a gun that I think he like bought at a store.
He bought that day.
Yeah, he didn't even have. Which again, it's like you could get a gun that day. Got a gun that day. Went to his trailer home, and just shot him.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then immediately called the police and said, I just shot a man. And the 911 officer's like, what happened? Were you being attacked? What happened? He goes, no, he made fun of, I was humiliated on national TV. But the show hadn't even aired yet.
And it never aired, right?
No, never. Then, of
Yeah.
course, it never aired. Yeah.
And they showed the footage in this documentary, which is like they showed it in the trial by murder that we watched. They showed some of the footage from the show. Like,
Yeah. I mean, and you just can't. So, actually, one of the things I was thinking about is that I bet after this, I bet anybody that goes on a show like this, obviously they would do disclosures, but I wonder in doing something like a catfish show, which is sort of similar to what they were doing here. I wonder now if they do make people like do personality tests, or I would think on a TLC, like I would think anything where you're really getting into someone's like personal life, that you'd want to make sure that they're not going to like lose their mind or do something drastic because they're mentally unstable because of a result of love lost or embarrassment or humiliation. I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't have to, because
I mean, the whole show ended up going on trial. Like they put the
right.
like a civil trial.
So first he goes to jail.
Yeah.
Because for many years, I think he may have just.
He got out in like 2017.
Yeah, but he did like a solid 20 years.
Yeah.
And he had never had done anything wrong.
No, and the lawyer in the documentary, like his lawyer, was kind of my favorite part. And I guess this is why you're a defense attorney sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, he's just like, well, I mean, the guy was embarrassed on TV, and then he's like, and then I guess when Jonathan went to shoot Scott, like Scott picked up he had a gun, so he like picked up a chair to maybe like try to shield himself or something. And he's like, and then he picks up a chair. I mean, if anyone was asking to be shot. Like, what? Asking to be shot because I picked up a chair when a gun was pointed at me? Like, I was like, wow, this guy's like, not changing my stance on this. He deserved to die.
Right. And then he also said, he goes, how would you feel if someone said they wanted to put whipped cream all over your body or whatever? And they go to this expert from this, like, just kind of activist, LGBTQ activist woman. She goes, so every woman that's ever been hit on by a guy has a right to kill them?
Yeah.
Because it might have been unwarranted.
Because somebody said something inappropriate to them in a bar. Yeah.
But then you obviously, we know back then and in certain families, and maybe he did question his sexuality. He did say at one time people thought he was gay, but he said he was straight on the show, and how people would just get crazy about, like, there's so many, it really only happens, it seems to, with men, where, it's you find out like they're the most religious or the most right-wing person against the gays, and then 40 years later, they're like, 65 and with their boyfriend.
Yeah.
And you're like, really? You could have had such a more fun life. Like,
Yeah.
why? But they were fighting their own demons in themselves. And they're looking at people being happy and gay, and they're so mad that they're like getting to have a fun life.
Yeah.
That they
can't accept it themselves. Yeah.
So
So, I mean, he obviously snapped for sure. I mean, that's not.
Yeah. And then what I thought was, so then he does his time. He goes to jail. Everyone knows that he did it. It was about a matter of like how much time he was going to get. And then the family of the victim, Scott's family, hires this attorney. I forgot his name, like Feger or something. And he's
Yeah.
just like a real slick, overly tan guy. And he goes to sues the show, Jenny Jones, the parent company, Warner Brothers, for $25 million. They are to give, in a wrongful death suit, so that the family would get that $25 million. It's their fault that they put this show on, and this guy then ended up murdering their loved one. I mean, I can't even imagine what Jenny Jones's life was like.
I mean, it's the back and forth with her and the defense attorney, who's like basically the one that, was defending Scott. Because she was kind of oddly smug, but I think just nervous. I don't know. Because, they were asking her questions. Like, he was like, well, how would you feel if somebody, offered to do these sexual things to you on TV? And she's like, I think it might be quite nice. Like, smiling, kind of acting like.
Well, I think she was
and then
probably.
she got shut down.
I think she was probably coached to be like, if she was. First of all, I bet she truly felt terrible.
Oh, I'm
like,
sure.
Terrible, terrible, terrible. But if she comes in that courtroom crying and going, do I wish we never did the episode? My God, and crying about it.
Yeah.
Then they'd be like, see, Jenny Jones even realizes. So she had to kind of, I think, have the smug of like, we do all these shows. We've done hundreds of them. this one resulted because of the action of this person. End of story.
Well,
You know.
I mean, which is obviously true. Like you can't imagine that somebody's gonna go.
Yeah.
But that's what that TV, like all the like Jerry Springer, like those shows were just getting people on and then embarrassing somebody.
Right. And then,
Like-
but defending the Jenny Jones and Warner Brothers, they said afterwards, the three of them, Scott, John, and the female friend, they laughed. They got drinks at the hotel.
Yeah.
They said it was so fun. That light thing that he left for him was something that they saw like after the show and thought it was funny. So it was like, oh, remember this from a few days ago, like still funny. Yeah, the guy, like, I guess was being flirty, but like, I think, Jonathan obviously wasn't stably, mentally not okay, but like, I think he probably, then there was an account. Someone said that Scott told, like a friend of Scott, the victim said, and then that night they got really drunk and they slow danced.
Right.
And then, but the female friend was like, no, that didn't happen. I mean, who's to say what happened or didn't? And is she going to get benefit from the money too? I don't know. But
Yeah.
she says this.
Something in those couple days after made him like stew and snap, which is
Yes,
the
like
part that I'm-
either he started to have feelings for this guy and was so disgusted with himself that he needed to put that anger on him and kill him. Because, I mean, the fact that he called the police right away says something. He didn't like try to hide the body or.
Yeah, no, he freaked out
Um,
after he did it too.
So I couldn't believe I looked it up. So then the jury says, yes, Warner Brothers is responsible. They appeal it. And then a whole 3 years later, a higher court says, no, we're throwing out this case. First Amendment right. This is a show and you're allowed to do it. They agreed to go on it. This horrible thing happened. It's not the show's fault. And it's like, thank God. And then I kind of wondered, like, did Jenny Jones just like quit show business? No, the show went on for like another 5 years.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
So she just, and obviously without maybe that same prank, like maybe they didn't do that one again. They're like, let's not do crush ones anymore. Let's just do, yeah, that's so crazy.
Maybe not 5 years after the appeal, but I mean, it went on for many years after this crime. It wasn't like shut down.
Right. I mean, can you imagine being like awarded 25, not that they were, they lost their family member. So,
Yeah.
But imagine getting awarded $25 million and then someone else saying that you don't get to have it.
And then for 3 years, you're just like,
Put it on the
I
card.
gotcha. Yeah, I gotcha.
Don't worry. And then you're like, oh, shit.
And like always just like looking like about what vacation you're going to take next and calling an attorney. So what do you think? Well, we're doing this appeal, but once we win the appeal, then and also with interest, when the appeal went through, it was $33 million that then was retracted.
Oh, so mean. I mean, I know it wasn't going to heal their hearts, but
Yeah,
it would have been nice trips.
I really would be. Oh, speaking of nice trips, do you watch Below Deck or Below Deck Sailing?
Yeah, girl.
Okay, have you watched Below Deck Sailing?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about that.
It's,
So, okay, a couple things with Below Deck Sailing. First of all, I just think it's weird that every you go on this boat, which is just as pretty as the other Below Deck yachts, except it sails. And then they're like, okay, it's every episode. Okay, so after lunch we're gonna sail for about for a little bit. Okay, great. We have to see the same scene of all the big
whole
sails
thing
go up,
going sideways.
everyone leaning over. They lean over for like a solid, I don't know, 45 minutes. Oh, the wind blew down. Take the sails down.
yeah.
What is the point of this?
I don't know. I think they thought it was a good idea because they're like, oh, we'll do a sailing one and just, I don't know, just so we can do another version. They should have just done like a new city or something, or like a new country or something, because it's like
A couple years they contacted me and they're like, we're going to do one, but it's Below Deck Sailing. Kids are welcome. We want like, it's going to be a little more like into the environment, like eco adventurous or something. Would you guys be interested? And the first place we're doing it is off of Cape Cod in Boston. And it's like 2 years ago. And I was like, oh my God, I'm doing a show in Boston in July. Like, how great would that be if I did a show? And then we were on it, and I could be with my kids.
Yeah.
And we're being, and it doesn't sound as like fancy snooty. So I'm like, that could be kind of cool. Like, we look like we're into the environment because we sail for 45 minutes over 3 days.
Right.
Okay. Anyway, the show didn't happen. Then we see this version. I'm like, this is just like the other version, except they sail for 2 minutes.
Yeah, and I think that they were like, oh, the first time they put up a sail, they were like, this is the worst idea we've ever had. Our crew's all over the place. We can't, everyone's scared. Shit's flying everywhere. It takes so long to clean up. So they were like, let's just use that same footage and pretend we sailed every episode.
Do you think the sails are more work than the big slide from the other show? Remember how pissed everyone would get about the slide?
Yeah.
These people don't even have a slide. They said, fuck that shit. They just make them jump off that rope.
Yeah, that's true.
Which kind of scares me too, because I'm like, I don't think I'd know. I'm afraid I wouldn't drop.
Yeah,
go back.
and I'd go back and smack right into it. Yeah, that's for sure what would happen to me. I think that I think they probably were like, well, you get the sail, so you don't get the slide.
Yeah.
But now they're like, there's no. Why would you sail? When
Okay, what do you think
shit's
about?
gonna go everywhere.
What do you think about Jenna head stew, and her PDA with the chef Adam?
They that couple is not good. They're not a good couple. They're not. He seems to have he seems like he's got like a really dicky side, like
Yeah.
he seems like he can be fun and normal, and then all of a sudden he gets kind of
Why are you
weird,
saying
but-
that?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go get in my van.
Yeah, like he gets real defensive real fast. But
If we
she's
went on
also
the water, I'd get in my van right now and
Yeah.
leave.
which is like the dumbest thing to say, by the way. Like, okay.
Okay.
And also that doesn't make me hot for you.
But then she also says it too. She'll be like, "Go get your van." Like,
Yeah.
I want to see this van eventually. Like,
I don't think she's ever gonna see it. That's my prediction, is that they're not going past the show. I don't know. They're both a lot.
I'd like to do an improv with you.
Okay.
I'm gonna be Jenna
Okay.
because I'm brunette, and you can be Madison. Madison is the second stew, and she does not seem to like Jenna or respect that Jenna and Adam are constantly making out, humping, taking naps together.
She's the blonde, right?
Yes,
With
she's the
pretty-
blonde.
yeah.
Okay. So Jenna just got word that the captain just said, "Hey, I think you and Adam are being a little unprofessional right now." And she's like, "I know it's that fucking bitch Madison." Madison, can I
Okay.
talk to you for a minute?
Sure.
If you have a problem with me, I'd rather you just come to me. I am your superior.
I don't really have a problem with you. It's
Really?
yeah.
Because I've been getting attitude from you from this entire charter season. And now I have to hear it from the captain. What I do on my nap time with whom I choose isn't your concern.
Well, it would be great if you first of all did your job instead of taking naps. And I think it's like kind of unprofessional that you and Adam act that way in front of the guests, but I don't have a problem with it. I think it's great.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think you think it's great at all.
Well, maybe I don't. It's up for you to decide by my cryptic sort of messaging that I'm giving you. Because I don't want to get fired, but I also don't want to tell you that I think you're a fucking unprofessional bitch to your face. Because I wouldn't say that to you because I'm not unprofessional.
Why are your nostrils flaring?
Oh, that's just when I get mad, they do that.
Yeah, well, they do it a lot.
Yeah.
And they do it a lot when guests are around.
Oh, you know what else happens a lot when guests are around?
What?
Your Adam has his hand right up your butt.
If I want to be fingered between course 3 and 4 of a 7-course pink meal that started 2 hours late, that was really upsetting to my boyfriend, Adam, if you would have done your job, you would have woken up the primary guest when she was passed out for 3 hours, but you didn't. We started the dinner at 10:30, didn't finish till 1 a.m., so I needed to get off,
Well,
okay?
Okay.
And he needed to finger me between the salmon and the trout caviar.
And maybe that's why dinner was late. Did you ever think about that?
I don't think that's your concern.
Hmm.
I've done this for a long time. And if you're going to make it in this industry, you're going to clean the toilets, you're going to make swans out of towels, and you're going to keep your mouth and your nostrils shut.
Were my nostrils flaring, or do her
No,
nostrils
hers
flare?
do.
Okay.
Yours weren't flaring.
Then I
But
started
she has a
feeling
very
like maybe
flaring,
mine do.
like
she
she
did.
has
Yeah,
like
they
kind of
get-
like a cute little nose, and it kind of like
Yeah, when
flares
she
with
gets mad.
anger.
Yeah. They are, it's a,
So I want to wait. The last episode. What about the cocaine? Okay, so I'm watching. Did you watch the last episode with the
Wait.
cocaine?
cocaine.
Okay, this last group of people are
I
there,
must
and
be
it's
an
a
episode
small
behind.
group. It's this rich woman. I don't even know if she has a boyfriend. I think there's a gay couple on it, 2 gay guys, and like 2 women. I think it's only 5 or 6 total.
Yeah.
Very small group, and so this guy's Billy is like the gay boyfriend of the other gay guy or whatever. And throughout the entire episode, they're showing him shut the door to the bathroom, and he goes, "Can they pick it up on
I
their
haven't seen
mic?"
this episode yet.
And I'm watching it with Drake, and Drake's like my son. He goes, "So what if the guy's doing cocaine? Don't they pay like $50,000 for 2 nights to be on this thing?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "God, and now they're saying that he's doing cocaine on this boat. Like, isn't that what people do on these boats?" I'm like, probably. Like, but I was like, how pissed are they gonna be? So that anytime they show the guy like laughing, they're like, they make it look like that's a cocaine laugh.
Right.
Like he's just like, it's like, and then, they make it louder than everybody else, and everyone's like,
Oh
and
my
then
God.
Jenna goes to the one of the guys, the guy that hurt his back says to Jenna, like, I think I saw some white powder in his nose. And she's like, oh my, like, God. And so then she like goes to tell the little captain, and he's like, all right, well, I would have liked to have heard about that earlier. And she's like, I mean, I don't know. I think they're doing drugs. He proceeds to eat 7 courses. Now, doesn't cocaine curb your appetite?
From what I heard, it does. So if he ate 7 courses, he's either got bad cocaine
Mhm.
or he's not doing it right.
And then they're like, the next morning, how'd you sleep? "God, we didn't sleep much."
So everyone's like, oh my God,
Yeah.
because of the cocaine.
And then they're like, "Oh, you want to go paddleboarding?" And he's like, "Sure." And he like falls off the paddleboard, and they're like, "Oh my God, he's like, okay, he's okay." And I'm like, I cannot believe they're doing this, because talk about ruining someone's life. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know
that's-
what this guy does for a job. Hopefully, he's in an industry like fashion where it doesn't matter if you do cocaine. But like,
Where it's
what if he's
encouraged.
like, yeah, what if he is like a teacher or something where like now everyone's going to see this, and so the next episode is going to be them going through his bag, and then the captain goes, "Look, if he goes off, if we stop and he paddleboards to an island, gets some coke in his body, and comes back, there's nothing I can do. But if he brought coke in his knapsack on my yacht, I mean, I'm like, you really think like federales or whatever are going to come on your boat and go through some gay guy's backpack and find like a vial this big of coke?"
Yeah, I mean,
You're
I'm
telling me
pretty
that
sure
not
they're not.
everybody-
That's not the first yacht that's had drugs on it. There's zero
I
chance.
thought that was like a requirement to be on a yacht. Is that like you've been on yachts?
I've been on one. I don't know if there was. I don't think there was any cocaine on that one.
Well, I think it's pretty. I think that good luck getting anybody to go on this show.
Yeah, I mean, it is.
I
weird.
thought it was bad enough. I never wanted to go on it because I thought they would like make fun of the fact that like, oh, it's not buttery Chardonnay enough. Like
Right.
spitting it or
Oh
something.
yeah, they
And
find
then-
a reason.
Yeah,
to get...
and then like her and a cougar friends, and then they'd show like the one moment that I'm drunk, the one moment, and like or like me jumping off and like someone looking kind of fat. And,
Oh yeah, no, I couldn't. I would.
and then you don't tip enough.
Yeah,
And
that'd
that's
be
the other
too
thing. They
mean.
never bring up the fact when the tip is low. And I'm so conscious of this, but like, I was like, they go, "Oh, that is kind of low compared to the other people." I'm like, the other people were 8 to 10 people. These last people that didn't give a lot of money was like 5 or 6 people. And nobody ever goes, like, when they get their like disappointing tip, they never go, "Well, you guys, remember there was only 5
Yeah,
people." They
instead
never
of-
say that.
Yeah, and also that guy needs his money for his cocaine. So leave him alone.
Oh my gosh, let me see where we are with these topics here. Okay, so we still have so much to go through. So you're going to stay a little longer, and you guys, Sarah, with more topics, will be on Tuesday's show as well.
Okay, I'm so busy though today. I have plans.